Your child held the door open for a stranger today. They said please and thank you without being asked. Their teacher called them a joy to be around. And then they walked through your front door and screamed at you because you cut their sandwich the wrong way. You are not imagining it. Your child genuinely is kinder to everyone else. And the reason why is one of the most counterintuitive discoveries in all of developmental psychology. It is not a behavior problem. It is not bad parenting. It is not even something you need to fix. It is, in the most literal scientific sense, a sign that you are doing something right. But to understand why, you have to go back to the very beginning of what it means to feel safe. Every child is born with a nervous system that is wired for one thing above all else: survival. Not happiness. Not politeness. Survival. And survival, for a small human who cannot feed themselves or regulate their own body temperature or escape danger, means one thing. It means staying close to the person who keeps them alive. Psychologist John Bowlby spent decades studying this. In the 1960s, he proposed what is now called attachment theory. His core idea was radical at the time. He argued that children do not just need food and shelter from their caregivers. They need something deeper. They need a secure base. A person they can always return to. A person whose presence tells their nervous system, you are safe here. You do not have to perform. You do not have to manage yourself. You can fall apart. That person is you. And here's what most parents do not realize. When a child feels completely safe with someone, they stop regulating their behavior around that person. They stop performing. They stop holding themselves together. Because they do not need to. The emotional work they do all day, every day, out in the world, the effort of being patient in class, of waiting their turn on the playground, of not crying when something embarrasses them, all of that effort is possible because they know that somewhere, there is a person with whom they do not have to try. That person is you. Researchers call this the haven of safety. When a child is attached to a caregiver at a deep level, the caregiver becomes the emotional release valve. You are the one person safe enough to fall apart in front of. And falling apart, in children, looks like screaming about sandwiches. Psychologist Lisa D'Amour, who studies adolescent emotional development, has a phrase for this. She calls it the most loving thing a child can do. She writes that when children save their worst behavior for their parents, it is an act of trust. It means they believe, at some cellular level, that you will not leave. That you will not stop loving them. That you can handle the full weight of who they are, not just the polished, presentable version they show to the world. Think about the adults in your own life. The ones you are truly safe with. You are not your most patient self around them. You cancel plans. You cry without explaining. You say things you would never say to a colleague or a stranger. And you do that because those are the people whose love you do not feel you have to earn. Your child is doing the same thing. Every time they melt down at you and no one else. Every time they are rude to you in a way they would never be rude to a friend's parent. They are telling you something they have no words for yet. They are telling you that you are their safe person. But there is more happening here than just emotional safety. There is biology. By the time a child arrives home at the end of a school day, their stress system has been running for hours. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control, patience, and emotional regulation, has been working hard. And it has limits. Neuroscientist Mary Helena Mordino-Young, who studies the intersection of emotion and cognition, has shown that self-regulation is not a fixed ability. It depletes. Every time a child chooses not to say something rude, every time they sit still when they want to move, every time they hold back a tear in front of their classmates, they are spending from a finite reservoir. By the time they get to you, that reservoir is empty. What you are witnessing when your child comes home and collapses into irritability or tears or inexplicable rage is not a malfunction. It is the natural endpoint of a day of sustained emotional labor. They held it together for everyone else. They are releasing it with you because you are the one person they trust enough to release it with. This is sometimes called after-school restraint collapse. It is well documented. Children who are perfectly behaved at school, who teachers describe as patient and kind and cooperative, come home and detonate. Not because school was bad. Because school was hard, in the invisible way that being a person is hard, and home is where they can stop pretending otherwise. And the painful irony is that the better you are at making home feel safe, the more dramatic this contrast tends to be. A child who feels deeply secure with you has a correspondingly larger release to make. The intensity of the meltdown is, in a strange way, a measure of how much they trust you. None of this means you should accept cruelty. None of this means there are no limits. You can hold a boundary, you can say, "We do not speak to each other that way," and still understand what is underneath the behavior. Boundaries and understanding are not opposites. A good safe base is not a place with no walls. It is a place with walls you trust will not fall down. But the next time your child is rude to you after being sweet to their teacher, try to hold both things at once. Notice that out there, in the world, they are trying. They are practicing. They are learning to be a person among people, and it costs them something. Notice that in here, with you, they are not trying. They are not performing. They are just being whatever they are in that moment, even if that thing is volcanic. That is not a failure of your parenting. That is the proof of it. John Bowlby believed that the secure base a child builds with their caregiver becomes the internal blueprint for every relationship they will ever have. The child who learns that love does not have to be earned, that they can be imperfect and still be held, grows into the adult who knows how to be loved without fear. Who can fall apart with the people they trust. Who can be honest instead of only being impressive. You are building that blueprint right now. In every moment that you stay when it is hard. In every moment that you repair after the rupture. In every moment that you communicate, even imperfectly, that you are not going anywhere. Mary Helena Mordino Young puts it simply. Children do not learn emotional regulation by being controlled. They learn it by being co-regulated. By having someone who stays steady next to them while they are unsteady. By having someone who absorbs the storm without becoming the storm. That is the job. Not to raise a child who is always polite. To raise a child who knows, in the deepest part of themselves, that they are loved without condition. And the strange, beautiful proof that you are doing that job is the same proof that makes you want to pull your hair out. Your child is kind to everyone except you. Because with everyone else, they are trying to be loved. With you, they already know they are.